Hello everyone and welcome to this astrology masterclass where we are gonna talk about one of my favorite topics, and that of course is astrology, and we are gonna cover the basics so that you can understand your own birth chart better and that you gain insights into what your life's purpose is, why you came here, and into your psychology and even those deep psychological wounds so that you can really navigate your life in the direction that you really wanted to go. Because let me tell you, astrology is one of the greatest tools that we have out there. Also, if you are already practicing astrology, this is also gonna be great because it will help you to understand astrology even deeper. And let's be honest, you never can know enough about astrology. So let's begin with this amazing workshop. And first of all, we are gonna talk about the structure of today's workshop. So here is what we are gonna cover today. We'll start with a brief introduction to what astrology is and why it can benefit everyone. Next, we'll discuss the role astrology plays in personal development and how to create your own birth chart. This is really important. We'll then dive deep into planets, zodiac signs, and houses and the aspects. And finally, we are going to talk about how you can use this knowledge for your personal development. But first, let me introduce myself. I'm a spiritual life coach and an astrologer, and I am dedicated to helping people master themselves through astrology. My journey into astrology began during a very challenging time in my life. I really struggled mentally and with my entire life generally, and I stumbled across astrology by accident, but I instantly fell in love with it. Suddenly my problems and personality made sense, and it completely transformed my life because it left me feeling more empowered to take action and to understanding why those things were happening to me. And this is exactly what I aim to do with this workshop, to help you gain power over your own life. And from the moment that I discovered astrology, I knew that I have discovered my purpose, leading me to be here with you, leading this masterclass. So now that I have introduced myself, let's dive right into it. And we are gonna start with the question, what actually is astrology? So, in my opinion, astrology is the greatest tool for personal development that we have. It helps us to discover our gifts and challenges throughout our lives. Astrology is the study of stars and of their movements and how they impact our personality and life events. So it is based on mathematical calculations. And if you were skeptical before to astrology being too spiritual, this is really based on actual science. And today we'll focus on natal astrology because it helps us to understand ourselves and our personal development. After all, who doesn't want to know what their fullest potential is? And this leads us to a question. Is astrology actually for everyone? And can everyone benefit from it, even if you are not an astrologer? And my answer is absolutely. A basic understanding of astrology is immensely helpful. It helps you to understand your purpose and your potential. Because you see, we often compare ourselves to others, admiring those who seem to have reached their fullest potential. However, understanding your unique astrological chart allows you to see your greatest potential and use it as your guiding image. Whether you're spiritual or not, astrology can help you to become your best self. And that's why everyone should learn a little bit about astrology and about their charts, because these days we really struggle with our image, with our identity, with our purpose. And astrology can really help with all of those issues. And so now I really wanted to discuss the correlation between astrology and personal development, because this is my main area of focus when I'm teaching and learning about astrology. Because astrology not only shows us our highest potential, but also guides us on how to achieve it. Think of a roadmap for your personal development. By learning the basic concepts of astrology, you can interpret your chart more intuitively. And this is also the style that I'm teaching astrology in. It is all about being more intuitive because, yes, astrology is more like a science. We have so many books about astrology that are explaining every single aspect. However, every single one of us is unique, and therefore, if you look at your chart, your subconscious mind will already help you to interpret it so that you receive the messages that you were meant to receive on your journey towards becoming the best version that you can be. So now let's jump into answering the question that you are probably already asking yourself. Like, what is it that astrology exactly can help us with? First of all, understanding your personality, identifying your wounds, recognizing your highest potential, understanding the challenges that you are facing, revealing the highest expression of your ego, and unveiling your subconscious patterns. So you can see here that it really has way more to do with psychology than with something spiritual that isn't really applicable to every single one of us. Because astrology, if interpreted and learned correctly, can show us our psychological imprints and the wounds, the subconscious patterns that we go through over and over again, and also our highest potential. So this is exactly what we are gonna learn today. And now we are gonna start with how to cast and create your own birth chart, because it is way simpler than it used to be, thanks to all of those online softwares that are completely free that we can use these days. So what are the steps? First of all, you will need your birth information. Collect accurate details about your birth time, date, and place. Select an astrology website so you can really use whatever you like, whatever fits you. I personally use AstroSeek. In my opinion, the best website. It offers us so many great, amazing tools, really easy to read, and I really like the design. So you can go ahead and check it out. The link is right here. And then you simply need to create your birth chart. They have the option there, and then you just simply put your birth data in, and then it will generate your birth chart. It is really as simple as that. So go ahead and do it. I would recommend that you do it right away, so you can pause the video and then create your birth chart, and then look at your birth chart as you are continuing to listen to this workshop. And first of all, when we think about learning something new, we need to understand the language that it speaks. That's why the first section of this masterclass is gonna be learning the language of astrology. So let's learn the vocabulary. So let's start with the modes, and we have 3 of them. We have cardinal signs. Those are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. And the question that we need to ask ourselves here in order to understand those signs is, what do these signs have in common? Why are they cardinal signs? Well, cardinal signs are known for their initiative and leadership qualities. They are natural starters, often taking the lead and driving new beginnings. Their energy is directed outward, focusing on action and forward movement. So whenever you see one of those 4 cardinal signs, you know that their energy is gonna be directed more outward. You will be more eager to start new things and displaying more of those leadership qualities. Now, the next mode are the fixed signs, which are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And what do they have in common? Well, as the name suggests, these signs tend to be of a more stubborn nature. However, they are also capable of sustaining and nurturing what their cardinal signs have started. So the energy of the fixed signs is really concerned with building upon the conquered ground that the cardinal signs have started. But also, if you are dealing with a person who has many fixed signs, many placements in the fixed signs, you know you will be dealing with a person that is very stubborn most of the times. Now, the third mode are the mutable signs, which is Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. And those have in common that they are great at spreading knowledge and passing it on. They excel at perfecting and finishing everything that the cardinal and fixed signs have started. Mutable signs, therefore, enjoy exchanging ideas and mixing them up, demonstrating flexibility and adaptability. And those qualities are what the mutable signs have in common. They really like to fit themselves into wherever they are, and also, again, great at finishing all of those details that the cardinal signs and the fixed signs have started. Now, let's move on to the elements, which probably many of you are already gonna be familiar with, because we have 4 elements, and those are fire, water, earth, and air. And therefore, the whole zodiac is also divided into those elements. So, fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And fire signs are known for their expressive and dynamic nature. They possess a fiery energy that fuels their ambition and drives them forward. These signs are often idealistic and passionate, very, very passionate, bringing enthusiasm and vitality to everything that they do. And they really need to feel that vitality within within them to feel alive. Those are also natural leaders, always ready to take initiative and inspire others. This is really a big point for the fire sign, like inspiring or being inspired. Fire signs are also characterized by their creativity, confidence, and a strong sense of self. However, they can sometimes be very impulsive and impatient, needing to learn the balance between their intense drive and the practicalities of everyday life. Those are gonna be the people that can have a hard time to live the mundane aspects of life. Next, we have the earth signs, which are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Earth signs are known for their grounded and practical nature. They are reliable, stable, and have a strong connection to the physical world. These signs excel in creating and maintaining structures, whether in their personal lives or in their careers. Earth signs value security and are often hardworking and diligent, ensuring that tasks are completed with precision and care. They are also known for their patience and perseverance, making them excellent at achieving long-term goals, something that the fire signs can have trouble with. However, their focus is on material world and can sometimes make them resistant to change and overly cautious. Earth signs are the builders of the zodiac, creating solid foundations and tangible results. This is really what is typical of all of their earth signs. Now, the next we have the air signs, which are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And air signs are known for their intellectual and communicative nature. They are curious, social, and thrive on interaction and exchange of ideas. These signs are often seen as the thinkers and communicators of the zodiac, valuing logic, reason, and broad perspective. Air signs are adaptable, flexible, and enjoying the exchange of thoughts and opinions. They are also known for their ability to see both sides of situation, making them fair and impartial. However, their focus on the mental realm can sometimes make them detached and less grounded in their emotions, because air signs are the connectors of the zodiac, linking people and ideas and fostering understanding and innovation. So you see, the air signs are more about the logic, the intellect, and communication. So those are gonna be the people that are probably gonna reason with you from a more psychological or logical perspective than, for example, the fire signs, which would get really emotionally involved into conversation or a conflict. Now, the last group is gonna be the water signs, which are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And water signs are deeply emotional. They are known for their sensitivity and their ability to connect with others on emotional level. These signs are often seen as the healers and nurturers of the zodiac, with a strong capacity for compassion and understanding. Water signs are in tune with their own feelings and the feelings of others, making them highly perceptive and often psychic. However, their deep emotional nature can sometimes make them too vulnerable, and they are gonna lose themselves in the emotions, finding it hard to really stay grounded in the reality. Next, we have the planets, which are the characters representing revolutionary urges and psychological processes. So those are the main characters that are very important in order to understand our psyche. And the planets in astrology represent different aspects of our personality and the various drives and urges that shape our psychological processes. Each planet governs a specific area of life and symbolizes distinct qualities and energies. And that's why understanding the planets helps us to comprehend diverse components of our psyche and how they interact to influence our behavior and experiences. Now, the signs are the styles of expression and the archetypal images. In astrology, the signs represent distinct styles of expression and archetypal images that characterize different aspects of human personality and experience. Each sign embodies specific qualities and traits and tendencies that shape how individuals navigate the world and interact with others. So when the planets are the characters, the actors, the signs are gonna be the roles that they play, and the aspects are the relationships between characters, evolutionary urges, and our psychological forces. In astrology, aspects refer to the relationships between planets and other points in our chart, revealing the dynamic interplay of energies that shape an individual's personality, experiences, experiences and life events. Each aspect represents a unique interaction between planetary forces influencing various aspects of your individual psyche. So the aspects are the relationship that the actors have within that play. Now that we understand the vocabulary, let's take a closer look at the planets. Again, they act like the actors in our birth chart and symbolize different urges and needs within our consciousness. So we are gonna start with the sun, which you probably will feel the strongest connection to because our sun sign is generally the sign that you always talk about. So first of all, what does the sun actually represent? And in psychological astrology, the sun symbolizes our core identity and the essence of who we are. It also represents our conscious self, our ego, and primary drive for self-expression and our purpose. The sun's position in the natal chart reveals our inherent qualities and strengths. It indicates the areas where we seek to shine and be recognized. It is also our creative potential, vitality, and willpower to pursue our goals and aspirations. And it also shows us how and where we are gonna manifest our true selves, highlighting themes and activities that fulfill us. The sun reflects also our quest for meaning, authenticity, and fundamental needs for recognition. The house that you have your sun in is gonna tell you where you can radiate your life's purpose. The sign is gonna answer the question by expressing what archetypal energy do I feel most vitalized and alive. And to understand the aspect, you can ask the question, which aspects of myself increase my sense of vitality and creativity? So those are gonna be the relationships to different parts of your psyche, of your consciousness, that are gonna either be helpful or that are gonna really make it harder for you to be truly who you are. Next, we have the moon, and the moon represents our emotional core and our subconscious mind. It symbolizes our instinctive responses, innermost feelings, and habits. The moon's position in the natal chart reveals our emotional needs and how we seek comfort and security. It shows us patterns of behavior rooted in early experiences and conditioning. It also signifies our capacity for empathy, ability to form emotional bonds, and instinctual reactions to life's circumstances. The house that you have your moon in is going to answer the question, in what area of life will I feel most comfortable? And the sign is going to answer the question, what is the energetic structure of my soul? How do I naturally react to situations? What style of being nourishes me and helps me to stay content? And the aspects are gonna again answer the question of what aspects of your psyche are gonna be helpful here, or what aspects are gonna really make it hard for you, for example, to express your emotions. So the next planet is Mercury, and Mercury represents our mental processes, communication style, and our intellectual abilities. It symbolizes our capacity for thinking and learning and expressing ourselves. And the position in the natal chart reveals how we perceive information, process our thoughts, and articulate ideas. It highlights our approach to communication, learning, teaching, and overall our mental agility. It also signifies our ability to analyze, reason, and make connections between different pieces of information. So the house is gonna answer the question, at what realm of life will I most often communicate? Where will my thoughts naturally circulate? This is also gonna be probably a life area. This is also gonna be a life area where you will love to learn about the things or communicate your thoughts and opinions on the topics of that house that you have Mercury in. The sign is gonna give us an answer to the question, through what lenses do I perceive reality? And the element is gonna describe your learning style. And the aspect again, what parts of myself influence my thought processes. And the next planet is Venus, which symbolizes our values, relationships, and sense of aesthetics. It also shows us our capacity for love, attraction, and harmony, also known as your love language. And the position in the natal chart reveals how we relate to others, what we value in relationships, and how we express affection and appreciation. It also highlights our approach to love, beauty, and pleasure, as well as our desire for harmony and balance in our interactions. What mask does my sacred feminine wear? The house is gonna tell us about what area of my life will I naturally feel myself magnetized toward, and where can I feel pleasure. The the sign is gonna tell us about how your feminine side actually shows up and what energies attract you in friendship and partnership. And the aspects are gonna show us what parts of you are harmonizing or challenging how you show love. So your love language, basically. Now let's talk about Mars, which shows us and represents our drive, assertiveness, and instinctual energy. So whereas Venus symbolized more of our feminine side, Mars symbolizes more of our masculine side. It symbolizes our capacity for action, desire, and self-assertion, and it also reveals how we pursue our goals, assert our will, and express our physical energy, also how we deal with conflict and competition. So the house placement is gonna tell us what realm of life will excite and motivate you, and in what life area will you be likely to find confrontation and battle, but also where you will need to stand up for yourself and fight. The sign is gonna tell us about what energy is gonna motivate you to act. So if you find yourself having trouble with taking action, looking at the sign and the qualities of that sign where you have your Mars is gonna be really helpful, and it's also gonna tell you about how best you can assert yourself and assert your will out into the world, and also what compares your sacred masculine. The aspects are gonna tell us about what is gonna help you to make changes in your life, to act, and where you have some inner battles to fight. The next planet is a little bit more light and expansive because the next planet is Jupiter, and it represents our sense of expansion, growth, and the pursuit of wisdom. It also symbolizes our optimism, beliefs, and the ways in which we seek meaning and understanding in life. So this is gonna show you the life areas where you really will find yourself being optimistic no matter what. And the position in the natal chart is gonna reveal how we expand our horizons and where we find opportunities for growth and abundance. So the house is gonna again tell us about where can I always seek to broaden up my horizons, where can I play it big and seek new opportunities. The sign is gonna tell us how does this energy of expansion, faith, idealism, and opportunities show up for you, and the aspect, which aspects of myself harmonize with or challenge my sense of faith, enthusiasm, and opportunities. Now, next planet is Saturn, a little bit less liked planet because it is a little bit more harsh. However, we can gain so much from this planet. It is really amazing because it represents our sense of structure, responsibility, and discipline, and it symbolizes our boundaries, limitations, and the lessons we must learn through hard work and perseverance. Saturn's position in the natal chart reveals where we encounter challenges, face our fears, and develop resilience. This is really gonna be the greatest gift that your birth chart can give you when you are gonna be willing to really put work into it and really work hard, probably harder than anyone else that you see regarding that life area, but for you it's gonna be important to build up that inner resilience. So the house is gonna tell us about in what area of your life will you have to discipline yourself, where will you need to establish routines and hard work and focus on responsibility. The sign is gonna tell us about which energy you will initially fear and eventually seek to master, and how will you ultimately structure your consciousness. The aspects are gonna tell us about what part of you or your life are gonna require commitment and stability, and what forces may cause you to struggle with experiencing and finding that structure. Now we have covered the most known planets, and we are gonna move to the more outer planets and points in the sky. And the next is Chiron, which actually is an asteroid. And Chiron is actually also called the wounded healer. And here's why. Because it represents our deepest wounds and our potential for healing, not only for ourselves, but also then for others. It symbolizes the areas of life where we have experienced pain, suffering, and vulnerability, as well as the potential for profound personal growth and transformation. The position in the natal chart reveals where we encounter our most significant challenges and how we can transform these wounds into sources of strength and wisdom that we can then share with others. So the house is going to tell us in what realm of life do I carry a wound? Where can I learn to heal and eventually become a mentor to others? The sign is going to tell us what energy do I need to heal, tap into in order to heal, and the aspects are the parts of your consciousness that will have some primal wounded aspects. So what aspects will you need to work on in order to really heal that wound? Next, we have another very transformational planet, which is Pluto. Pluto. And this represents transformative forces of power, regeneration, and deep psychological change. Pluto is the wound that never heals fully, actually. It only helps us to understand it and where it comes from, and not stuffing it deeper into our consciousness, but rather facing all of the wounds and challenges that come with it. And it symbolizes our capacity for profound transformation, rebirth, and the uncovering of hidden truth, for profound transformation and rebirth. And in the natal chart, it reveals where we experience intense power struggles, deep emotional upheavals, and the potential for significant personal evolution. So the house is gonna tell us about what realm, what life area will you feel like you must constantly regenerate, and how you will be able to constantly renew yourself. The sign is gonna tell us about how you can transform and rebirth a more evolved version of yourself, and the aspects are gonna tell us what planets have unconscious forces and motivations beneath them, what parts of you must undergo a deeper investigation and constant rebirth. So this is a very deeply psychological planet, and understanding the motives behind the other planet that this planet makes aspects to is really gonna help you to understand your sabotaging behaviors, for example, and all of those shadow parts of your consciousness. The next planet is Uranus, which is the planet of sudden change, and it represents the urge for innovation and sudden disruptive changes in our life. It symbolizes the pursuit of individuality, freedom, and breaking away from the norms. Uranus signifies our capacity for breakthroughs and unconventional thinking. It is the rebellion against the status quo. It reflects themes and rebellion against established structures. The position reveals where we experience unexpected changes and need for freedom. So the house is gonna answer the question, where do I need to forge my own path and discover my uniqueness? In what realm may I experience unexpected changes or sudden shocks? The sign is gonna tell us about how can you contribute into shifting this archetype. And with contribution, it means Uranus is one of the outer planets. That means that most of the people that you grew up with that are the same age as you are gonna have Uranus in the same sign. However, the aspects and the house where you have it in is gonna be unique to you. And so the aspects are gonna tell us about what parts of you need freedom and radical means of expression, and what parts of you will experience innovative breakthroughs. Now, moving on, we come to the planet Neptune, which is the planet of dreams and imagination. It's a very lovely planet, in my opinion, because it represents the realm of dreams, our imagination, spirituality, and it is our connection to the collective unconscious. It symbolizes our yearning for transcendence and for merging with something that is bigger than us. And its placement indicates our sensitivity to subtle energies and receptivity to inspiration. And so the house is gonna tell us about where in life you will be able to receive divine guidance, or where your boundaries will dissolve. The sign is gonna tell us how do I reach spiritual fulfillment, and what energy is gonna be the most confusing and clouded for you, because Neptune is also the planet of deception. So whatever sign you have Neptune in, this is gonna be the energy that you can't quite grasp. And how can you express that energy in its highest form? This is really gonna be important to find that out. The aspects are gonna show us the part of you that seek divine union and mystical awareness. What parts of you contain a strong spiritual vision or tendency to escapism? This is really gonna be an important planet to work with when you find yourself having trouble to stay in tune with reality, or where you may find yourself having many escapism tendencies. So really important to pay attention to that planet. The other point that we want to take a look at is Lilith, which symbolizes our primal instincts and shadow aspects of our feminine side. So it really represents the primal instinctual aspects of the psyche, often associated with the repressed or shadow aspects of your feminine side. It also symbolizes our deepest desires, raw sexuality, and parts of us that defy societal norms. Lilith's position in the natal chart will reveal where we experience rebellion, empowerment, and confront our primal nature. And so the house is gonna tell us where in life you need to be able to express your feminine side, your repressed feminine side, and the sign is gonna tell us about how your feminine side is gonna show up. This is gonna be more of the archetype of the wild woman. So the side of your feminine energy that was repressed due to environment that you were living in or due to societal norms. And the aspects are gonna tell us about what other aspects may need liberation and may need to also be able to express themselves more freely. Next, we come to two very important points when it comes to finding out your soul's purpose and understanding your comfort zone and what is out of your comfort zone. So those points are the north and the south node. And the south node represents our soul's growth, evolutionary path, and the direction that we are encouraged to move towards in this lifetime. This is gonna be an area, an energy that you will at first not understand completely. You will think to yourself you could never be that. However, this is gonna be exactly what the universe is gonna be pushing you towards to, because it symbolizes the lessons we need to learn and the qualities we need to develop for our personal and spiritual growth. This is the stepping outside of our comfort zone, and that's why you will feel very uncomfortable when you first start to tap into your north node. So the house is gonna tell us about what activities of life will help your soul to best evolve. The sign is gonna tell us about what energy will you find fulfilling and into what archetype you need to develop into. And the aspects are gonna tell us about what forces will help you on this path or make it more challenging to step out of your comfort zone. And so when our north node is at the outside of comfort zone, the south node symbolizes our comfort zone. It is always exactly opposite of your north node, and it also includes our past lives, experiences, and habits and patterns brought into this lifetime. It represents qualities and behaviors that are familiar and very comfortable, but no longer serve our growth. And the south node position in the chart indicates areas of life where we have innate abilities and tendencies, but also where we may feel stuck. So the south node is never gonna satisfy you fully. Those are gonna be the tendencies of escapism that we have. Those are gonna be the gifts that we already are good at, but that no longer help us to develop and to step out of our comfort zone. Because if we want to grow as humans, we need to move towards our north node. It does not mean that we should not pay attention to our south node, because it will help us to understand our tendency to hide, to put ourselves into this small box because it is so familiar. So understanding that is going to be very important, and also sometimes it can really help you towards developing actually your north node, because it can give you skills that are easy for you, right? However, it should not be the main focus when we really want to grow as human beings. So those were all of the planets and the important points that you need to understand in order to understand your own birth chart. And now we are moving to the zodiac signs, which are gonna tell us about the expressions of our actors, so the roles that our actors can play. So we are gonna start with Aries, and the key phrase that Aries answers is I am and what do I want. Aries energy is all about you and what do you want, and being bold and fearless. That's why it is also associated with the first house, and it is ruled by the planet Mars, which is the planet of our masculine energy, our drive. So that's why the correlation here, and the affirmation that you could use in order to tap into that energy is I am fearless and I am bold. Now let's look at the healed and the wounded expression of that energy, because again, this energy and everything in your birth chart has two sides. You can either use and tap into the higher vibration, or you can stay in the low vibrational experience of your birth chart and of those energies. So the healed expression is gonna be vital, energetic, bold, courageous, enterprising, independent, and initiating. And so ask yourself, where should I embody that courageous and enterprising energy? The wounded expression would be filled with lots of anger, rage, selfishness, being rash, childish, over competitive, and reckless. And so when you want to know what life areas are affected by this lower vibrational energy, ask yourself the question, where do I tend to embody those low vibrational traits? So this is the Aries energy. Then we move into the second energy, which is the Taurus energy. And it really is concerned with I have and I value. So your possessions, everything that is important to you, your self-value and your self-worth. It is correlated to the second house, and the ruling planet is Venus. And so you really can tap into that energy when you use the affirmation of I appreciate the abundance of the present moment. This is gonna help you to shift to a more positive expression regarding that energy. But now let's look at the healed and the wounded expression. So the healed expression is very practical, self-sufficient, it is very perseverant, hardworking, loyal, very patient, grounded, and reliant. And so ask yourself, where should I embody that grounded and patient energy? And the wounded expression is gonna be you being stubborn, slow, resistant to change, very attached to the material things, and also very, very stagnant. And so when you want to find out where in your life does that tend to happen, ask yourself, where do I need to tend to embody those low vibrational traits? Now moving on to the Gemini energy, which is also like the twins. The key phrase here is I think and I communicate. House association is the third house, and the ruling planet is Mercury, right? It's about thinking, communicating, which we learned is also Mercury. And the affirmation is I'm open in the way I interact with the world. So a healed expression of that energy would be light-hearted, curious, clever, versatile, and spontaneous. So where should I embody that versatile and curious energy? And a wounded expression would be superficial, scattered, liar, unfocused, overwhelmed, over talkative, unemotional, and foolish. And if you want to find out where you tend to embody those traits, just ask yourself, where do I tend to embody those low vibrational traits? Moving on, we move to Cancer. And Cancer's key phrase is I nurture. This is a very nurturing energy, and therefore the associated house is the fourth house, and the ruling planet is the moon. Affirmation is I nurture and nourish myself and others. Important, not only others, but also yourself. A healed expression will be caring, tribal, compassionate, maternal, healing, and very intuitive. So ask yourself where you should embody those positive traits. And the wounded expression would be you being very moody, clingy, insecure, worried, shy, or oversensitive. Again, remember, you choose what energy and frequency you want to tap into. Moving on, we have the Leo energy, which the key phrase for this energy is I create and perform. It is associated with the fifth house, and the ruling planet is the sun. The affirmation that you could use is I manifest the divine spark. I express myself authentically. A healed expression would be expressive, generous, radiant, confident, joyful, creative, charismatic, courageous, leading from the heart. So where should you embody that energy? A wounded expression would be probably what every single one of us has already experienced in our lives. Someone who is egoistical, childish, always seeking approval, dramatic, power-hungry, narcissistic, arrogant, stubborn, and dominating. So where do you tend to embody those traits? It doesn't have to be, full-on narcissist, but where do you feel like you have those narcissistic tendencies? This is gonna tell you about where you should make those changes. Next sign, we have a Virgo. Key phrase here is I serve. Associated house is the sixth house. Ruling planet is Mercury, and affirmation could be I serve others through self-mastery. This is important. Your role, or wherever you have the Virgo energy, it is not to serve others, but it is to serve others through self-mastery, not only through picking on how others could improve things, but actually making those changes within your life so that you can be the leading example of that. So a healed expression would be humble, realistic, efficient, orderly, detail-oriented, and logical. And a wounded expression would be being very critical, perfectionistic, discriminating, stuck in routine, uptight, and a martyr archetype. So many of you probably think of Virgos as being very perfectionistic, like, every single detail matters. This is their power. However, this power can also be overused. Moving on, we have Libra. Libra's key phrase is I balance and harmonize. Libra is all about the balance and harmony. It's associated with the seventh house, partnerships such as marriage, for example. The ruling planet is Venus, and the affirmation could be I harmonize my heart with the rhythm of another. So now you are not only concerned with what it is that you want, but how can you harmonize it with what the other person actually wants. So a healed expression would be someone who is diplomatic, a peacemaker, who can really listen deeply, valuing multiple perspectives, and someone who is very cooperative. And a wounded expression would be indecision, independency, gossip, denial, inauthenticity, facade, and comparison to others. Next up, we have Scorpio. Key phrase here is I transform. Association is the 8th house, and the ruling planets are 2 planets actually, Mars and Pluto. Affirmation, I tap into the mysteries and my own shadows. I let myself be transformed. The Scorpio energy is not about the pretending that everything is good, pretending that everything has to be beautiful. It is about seeing and valuing the darkness of life and going through it. So I hear the expression would be someone who really is very powerful, magnetic, psychic even, resilient, intimate, passionate, and very, very deep. And a wounded expression would be someone who is very possessive, suspicious, controlling, and very secretive. Next up, we have the Sagittarius energy. Key phrase here is I expand and explore. Associated house is the 9th house, and the ruling planet is Jupiter. Affirmation that you could use here is I follow my bliss, I expand my mind, because this is exactly what Sagittarius energy wants you to do. Here the expression is freedom-loving, philosophical, enthusiastic, faithful, ethical, optimistic, and wise. And a wounded expression would be opinionated, restless, blunt, and over idealistic, and kind of like feeling like you know everything. The next we have Capricorn. Key phrase here is I utilize and discipline myself. Capricorn is all about achieving goals and the discipline. Associated house therefore is the 10th house of our career. The ruling planet is Saturn, and the affirmation could be I activate ambition and self-discipline. Here the expression would be successful, determined, patient, organized, mature, responsible, and someone who has lots of integrity. Wounded expression would be very conservative, authoritarian, disciplinarian, fearful, bound to law and tradition. Next sign we have Aquarius, which key phrase is I reform. House associated with Aquarius is the 11th house, and the ruling planet are both Saturn and Uranus. Affirmation is I let my individuality shine through. I embrace the universal freedom and tolerance. Here the expression is someone who is unique, who is a liberator, who is very innovative, humanitarian, tolerant, and futuristic. Wounded expression is alienated, impractical, cold, unemotional, robotic, over, rational, and insensitive. And the last sign is Pisces, which key phrase is I connect with everything. House associated with Pisces is the 12th house, and the ruling planets are Neptune and Jupiter. Affirmation, I dissolve my ego to become one with the divine. So how can you become more than only yourself? How can you connect with something beyond your own body? Here the expression would be psychic, artistic, compassionate, spiritual, and an open channel. Wounded expression would be escapism, vulnerability, someone who is foggy, confused, weak boundaries, or no boundaries at all. Now we have made it through the signs. We are almost there, guys. Let's move on to the houses. So the first house is our outward persona and mask that we are wearing. The vehicle carrying our soul, our appearance, our behavior, first impulses, projection of self-image out into the world. So if you want to learn about your first house, ask yourself, what vehicle carries my soul's purpose? Who am I? How do I present myself to the world? What is the first impression that I give to people? The second house shows us our values, our money, resources, possessions, earning ability, self-esteem, and relationship with our own body. So, what do I need in order to live? What is my relationship to the material world and myself? If you find yourself having trouble with self-esteem, look at your second house, because this is also where low self-esteem can really stem from. Third house is all about our perception of the world, communication, learning, siblings, and networking abilities. So how do I fit into my reality? How do I express myself in the world I inhabit in order to get what I need to carry on with a healthy sense of who I am? How do you communicate with others? How do you learn the best? The fourth house is concerned with our home, our roots, our lineage, experiences differences of upbringing and our inner identity. So what do I need in order to feel safe? How stable do I feel within myself? And this is also gonna be strongly correlated to the relationship that you have to your parents and to the state of your home relationships in general. The next house is the 5th house, which is concerned with our creativity, our self-expression, children, pleasure, and that inner child within each and every single one of us. So how do I connect with my inner child? How do I express my creativity? The next house is the 6th house, which is concerned with our health, our diet, our daily practices and duties, service to others, and our self-mastery. So what do I need to master in order to become of service to others? How do I find meaning in my daily life? Next, we have the 7th house, which is the first house that is concerned with others. So it is all about our relationships, partnerships, and marriage. How can I relate to others without losing my sense of self? How do I show up in my relationships? If you find yourself having trouble with staying yourself while you are in a relationship, so if you tend to become the person who you date at this moment, check your 7th house and the aspects to the ruler of your 7th house. The 8th house is about our psychological regeneration, deep intimacy, sexuality, hidden desires, death, and rebirth. So what do I need to let go in order to evolve? How is my relationship with intimacy? And what are my deepest desires that I resist to look at? When you find yourself having different sexual preferences, or when you find yourself that your sexuality is repressed and therefore you have many psychological issues, look at your 8th house. Those are going to be the shadow aspects of your psyche that you don't want to look at, but you really need to look at them. Then the 9th house, it's about our philosophy, religion, faith, foreign travel, expanding our mind and broadening our horizons. So how do I expand my consciousness and my horizons? The 10th house is about our career, our ambitions, our status, and our reputation. What mark do we want to leave in the world? So what career path aligns with my highest purpose the most? How can I use my personal power in a balanced way? This is also where we sometimes can feel inferior when it comes to career settings. So look at your 10th house if you find yourself struggling in your career and maybe taking a higher position, for example. Now, the 8th house is concerned with friendship, place in the community, group association, and goal setting. So how does my authentic self-expression operate in relation to all other beings? Where do I authentically fit into the society? Kind of what is the group that you fit into? Everyone has a group where they feel like they belong to. And the 12th house, the last house, is concerned with our spiritual union, the dissolution of our egos, imagination, intuition, retreat to subconscious mind, escapism tendencies, and also our dreams. So if you find yourself that you always have very strong dreams, very vivid dreams, look at your 12th house. Or if you have any psychic abilities, 12th house is also going to tell us about that, but also your subconscious mind and the prenatal phase in the first years of your life. So how do I connect with something beyond this material reality? How do I dissolve my ego? Where do I retreat in order to recharge? So those were the houses. Now let's move on to the last segment of this course, which are the aspects, which were again the relationship of those characters that are playing the roles in our birth chart. So we have a conjunction, and a conjunction occurs when two planets are in close proximity to each other in same zodiac sign, blending the energies to create a potent and unified force. This aspect amplifies the qualities of the planets involved, producing an intense focus on the themes and issues represented by the combined energies. Conjunctions signify new beginnings, powerful alliances, and significant developments in the areas of life governed by the planets involved. Then we have oppositions. An opposition occurs when two planets are directly across from each other in the zodiac, forming an angle of 180 degrees. This aspect creates a dynamic tension between opposing forces, highlighting contrasts and contradictions within your psyche hierarchy and external circumstances. Oppositions symbolize a need for balance, integration, and awareness of opposing viewpoints and desires. They often manifest as inner conflicts or external challenges that prompt growth, negotiation, and reconciliation. Then we also have squares, and a square occurs when two planets are approximately 90 degrees apart in the zodiac, forming a challenging aspect that ignites friction and conflict. This aspect represents internal and external tension that arise from conflicting desires, goals, or circumstances. Squares symbolize obstacles, crises, and turning points that compel us to confront limitations, make difficult choices, and take decisive action to overcome challenges. And so while squares can be sources of frustration and stress, they also catalyze growth, resilience, and transformation. The next aspect is a trine, and a trine occurs when two planets are approximately 120 degrees apart in the zodiac, forming a harmonious aspect that facilitates ease and cooperation between their energies. So those are more friendly energies. This aspect signifies natural talents, opportunities, and blessings that flow effortlessly in your life. Trines indicate areas of inner strength, creativity, and abundance, where things tend to unfold smoothly. They encourage positive growth, expansion, and fulfillment of potential, offering support and encouragement in pursuing goals and aspirations. And the last aspect that we are gonna look at is a sextile, and this occurs when two planets are 60 degrees apart, forming a favorable aspect that promotes cooperation and synergy between two energies. This aspect signifies opportunities for growth, learning, and collaboration that arise through proactive effort and mutual understanding. Sextiles encourage constructive interactions, creative problem solving of new skills or interests. They facilitate positive changes, expansion of horizons, and the realization of aspirations. So we have reached the end of our masterclass, and by now hopefully you have gained new insights into astrology and its impact on our lives, as well as understanding our own personalities. For me, this journey serves as pathway for self-mastery. If you found value in this masterclass, please consider checking out my social media accounts, connecting with me and my community there. I am always delighted to answer any questions that you have, so don't hesitate and simply ask. And I will also leave you with all of the links in case you want to check out my offers. I do offer readings and one-on-one coaching, as well as a Patreon membership where you can access exclusive membership content. So thank you for listening and making it through this masterclass. I really hope that this was helpful, and if it was, then don't hesitate, share that knowledge with others who might also benefit from it. So take care, and I will see you next time. Bye everyone.